Military boot camp is a world built on discipline, endurance, and transformation. Every year, thousands of new recruits enter this world knowing it will change them forever. But for women, that transformation begins under a unique kind of pressure, surviving in a system where they are still outnumbered, often by hundreds to one. In a training camp of 300 men, a handful of women must prove that they belong in one of the most demanding environments on Earth. Boot camp is designed to break recruits down before rebuilding them into soldiers. It strips away individuality, comfort, and ego. Everyone faces exhaustion, pain, and fear. But for women, the challenges are amplified by the constant scrutiny. Every movement, every decision, every moment of weakness can be magnified by the eyes of their peers and instructors. In a place where respect must be earned, they are fighting two battles at once: the battle to endure the training and the battle to be seen as equals. There are no shortcuts here. Wake-ups before dawn, grueling physical drills, and relentless mental tests push the body and mind beyond limits. Mistakes are punished, and emotions are seen as weakness. Yet the women who step into this environment don't ask for special treatment. They come for the same reason as everyone else: to serve, to protect, to prove their strength. What makes their story extraordinary is how they adapt, persevere, and find their own power within a system that wasn't originally designed for them. Over the next 12 weeks, these recruits will face more than exhaustion. They'll face the weight of expectation, the reality of isolation, and the challenge of earning respect in a world that demands toughness above all else. But for those who endure, boot camp becomes more than survival. It becomes a transformation, a place where resilience is born and strength is redefined. This is not just a story about training. It's a story about endurance, identity, and courage. It's the story of how female recruits survive and succeed in a boot camp dominated by 300 men. For most recruits, the first day of boot camp begins long before sunrise. After hours of travel, exhaustion mixes with adrenaline as buses roll through the gates of the training base. For the new female recruits, stepping off that bus is more than just the start of military life. It's the beginning of a test that will push every limit they've ever known. The moment they arrive, the air changes. Voices rise, orders echo, and the system takes control. There's no time to settle or think. Drill instructors establish dominance immediately, breaking down the idea of individuality within minutes. Names no longer matter. Everyone becomes a recruit, a number, a face in a sea of uniforms. For the women, that sea is overwhelmingly male. Outnumbered by hundreds, they feel the invisible weight of expectation from the moment their boots hit the ground. Boot camp isn't designed for comfort, it's designed for order. The first few hours are chaos, running from one station to another, being issued gear, uniforms, and ID tags. The female recruits move through the same process as everyone else, but they are constantly aware of their surroundings. Some men are curious, some indifferent, and a few skeptical. The pressure to prove themselves begins before training even starts. By nightfall, exhaustion sets in. The recruits finally reach their barracks. Long metal bunks, bright lights, and a silence that feels heavier than the noise before it. For many of the women, it's their first night surrounded by hundreds of strangers, with no privacy and no space to let their guard down. Yet, despite the fatigue and fear, there's a shared sense of determination. Every woman who made it here has already defied odds, and they know this is only the beginning. As the lights go out, there's little rest. At 4 a.m., the wake-up call will come. Tomorrow, the drills begin. Physical, mental, and emotional. From that point forward, every second will be a test of willpower and endurance. The first day has stripped away comfort and familiarity. What remains now is focus, resilience, and the silent promise each recruit makes to herself: I will make it through this. The first real day of training begins long before the sun rises. The sound of whistles and shouting fills the air as recruits scramble out of their bunks, half awake and disoriented. There's no time to hesitate. Within minutes, they're lined up outside in the cold morning air, standing at attention as drill instructors inspect every detail: uniforms, posture, attitude. For the women, the scrutiny feels sharper. Any mistake, no matter how small, becomes a reminder that they are being watched more closely than anyone else. Physical training starts immediately. Running, push-ups, squats, and endless drills push the recruits past exhaustion. The instructors' voices cut through the air, commanding, relentless, demanding more every time someone falters. Sweat mixes with dirt, muscles burn, lungs ache. This is the first true taste of military discipline, and it's brutal by design. The goal is not just to strengthen bodies, but to break down ego and rebuild unity through shared struggle. For the female recruits, the physical expectations are identical to the men's. The standards don't change. Every mile, every repetition, every obstacle must be completed. There is no room for excuses or exceptions. While some men may underestimate them at first, respect in boot camp is not earned through words, it's earned through performance. Every woman who keeps pace, who refuses to quit, sends a silent message: she belongs here. But the body can only take so much. Blisters form, muscles tremble, sleep becomes a luxury. The combination of exhaustion and pressure begins to take its toll. Some recruits start questioning themselves, not just their strength, but their purpose. Yet, this is the point of the training. The system pushes every person to the edge to see who will hold steady when everything hurts. As days blend into weeks, the women begin to adapt. Their endurance grows, their rhythm steadies, and their confidence deepens. The constant physical trials no longer feel like punishment, but progress. They start to realize something powerful. Strength isn't about who can lift the most weight or run the fastest mile. It's about who refuses to stop when everything inside them wants to quit. And in that measure, they are equal to anyone on the field. Boot camp is as much a test of the mind as it is of the body. By the second week, physical exhaustion becomes routine, but the mental pressure begins to mount. Every decision, every misstep, and every interaction is scrutinized. For the female recruits, being outnumbered by hundreds of men amplifies the stress. The constant awareness of being observed, often judged, creates a mental burden that never truly goes away. Isolation becomes one of the most challenging obstacles. In a world where camaraderie forms quickly among men, women can feel like outsiders. Conversations, jokes, and informal bonds often form in ways that don't naturally include them. Even in shared struggles, subtle social barriers emerge. It's a delicate balance. Maintain professionalism, earn respect, and avoid being marginalized, all while keeping up with the relentless pace of training. Sleep deprivation adds another layer of difficulty. Recruits are woken hours before dawn, drilled through exhausting routines, and allowed only minimal rest. The body may continue to function, but the mind begins to falter. Concentration wavers, mistakes happen. Drill instructors notice. Corrections become louder, faster, and more demanding. The pressure to remain composed under relentless scrutiny is constant. Additionally, female recruits face internalized stress. They are acutely aware that any failure could reinforce stereotypes about women in the military. Every misstep feels magnified, every success quietly measured. The psychological weight of needing to prove themselves not just to instructors but to peers is heavy. Yet it is precisely this pressure that shapes resilience. Coping mechanisms emerge. Some rely on mental visualization, picturing themselves completing tasks before even beginning. Others focus on small victories, finishing one obstacle, pushing through one lap, completing one set of drills. Slowly, mental toughness grows alongside physical stamina. Confidence, though fragile at first, begins to solidify. By the end of the fourth week, recruits start to understand that surviving boot camp is more than enduring physical pain. It is about mastering the mind, controlling fear, resisting doubt, and finding strength in moments of isolation. For the women, these lessons are magnified. They learn not just to exist in a male-dominated environment, but to thrive, to assert their presence, and to turn pressure into power. In this environment, mental endurance becomes as critical as physical capability, and sometimes even more decisive.
Boot camp is often described as a place where bonds are forged under fire. Soldiers learn to rely on one another, to move as a unit, and to trust that those beside them will hold their weight when the pressure is highest. But for female recruits, forming these bonds is rarely straightforward. Outnumbered and constantly under scrutiny, they must navigate a world where camaraderie and skepticism coexist, and where acceptance is earned, not freely given. Among the men, reactions to female recruits vary. Some are supportive, recognizing the courage it takes to endure the same brutal training. Others remain indifferent, focused solely on their own survival. And some are openly skeptical, questioning whether women can truly meet the physical and mental demands of boot camp. Every interaction, casual or structured, becomes a test, a subtle measure of respect, patience, and teamwork. The challenge is not only social, but psychological. In many exercises, recruits are paired or grouped, relying on each other for success. When women are included, they often feel the weight of expectation. One misstep can reinforce biases, while one success can start to break them down. Over time, repeated small victories, completing obstacles, maintaining composure under pressure, excelling in drills, become powerful tools in establishing credibility among peers. Trust, however, is a slow and fragile process. For female recruits, proving competence is only part of the journey. They must also navigate the unspoken codes of military brotherhood, knowing when to speak, when to step back, and when to assert themselves. Mistakes are amplified by the presence of male peers who may unconsciously compare performance. And victories are often quietly celebrated rather than loudly acknowledged. Yet, for many women, these challenges catalyze growth. They learn to read their environment, to find allies in unexpected places, and to assert authority through skill, resilience, and determination. Over time, barriers begin to erode. The initial skepticism of peers can transform into respect, a respect not granted out of politeness, but earned through relentless persistence. By the midpoint of boot camp, many female recruits begin to experience a quiet form of integration. They are no longer merely tolerated, they are recognized as equal contributors, valued for their competence and determination. The dynamic of brotherhood shifts subtly but meaningfully. In a demanding environment designed to test strength and character, female recruits demonstrate that respect and inclusion are earned through performance, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to succeed, no matter the odds. In boot camp, drill sergeants are the ultimate authority. They are not just instructors, they are the architects of transformation. Their mission is clear: to strip recruits of complacency, to push them beyond physical and mental limits, and to forge disciplined, capable soldiers. For female recruits, drill sergeants represent both the challenge and the opportunity, the standard that must be met and the measure by which respect is earned. Drill sergeants treat all recruits equally in terms of expectation. Standards for performance, discipline, and endurance do not change based on gender. Push-ups, obstacle courses, marksmanship, and tactical exercises are applied uniformly. This equality is essential to the integrity of military training. Yet for women, this uniformity can feel like an amplified pressure. Meeting the standard is not enough. They must also overcome deeply ingrained perceptions and prove that they are capable of performing at the same level as their male counterparts. The role of the drill sergeant extends beyond physical training. They are constant observers of attitude, teamwork, and resilience. Every glance, correction, and command carries meaning. A woman who falters may receive no leniency, while her male peers may be judged less harshly for the same slip. This scrutiny is part of the reality of being in a minority within a male-dominated environment. Success must be absolute and consistent. At the same time, drill sergeants are responsible for fostering growth. They challenge recruits to push past perceived limits, instill discipline that transcends physicality, and cultivate a sense of accountability. For female recruits, this mentorship is subtle but crucial. The same commands that seem harsh or punitive are designed to build confidence and endurance, to reinforce that strength is earned, not assumed. The interaction between recruits and drill sergeants also shapes identity. Women learn to navigate authority with respect and assertiveness. They develop mental toughness alongside physical capability. They understand that the standards set before them are rigorous because the world outside the training grounds is even harsher. Drill sergeants, intentionally or not, become catalysts for transformation, pushing women to discover reserves of resilience they may not have known existed. Ultimately, the drill sergeant embodies the duality of boot camp, a figure of challenge and a source of growth. For female recruits, meeting these demands is not simply about surviving the day or passing a test. It is about proving that they belong, gaining the respect of peers and instructors alike, and discovering that the true measure of a soldier lies not in gender, but in perseverance, determination, and the ability to endure under pressure. Boot camp is relentless, designed to test every limit of endurance and resolve. For female recruits, the combination of physical strain, mental pressure, and social scrutiny creates moments where breaking points feel inevitable. These moments are not failures, they are part of the process. They reveal the strength that lies beneath exhaustion and fear, and they challenge recruits to push beyond what they believed possible. Physical pain is the most obvious barrier. Recruits endure grueling runs, long hours of drills, obstacle courses that demand strength and agility, and repetitive exercises that push muscles and joints to their limits. For women in a male-dominated environment, these trials are magnified. Any lapse, any falter, can be seen as proof that they are weaker, and the pressure to prove otherwise becomes nearly constant. Injuries, blisters, and fatigue test not just the body, but the determination to continue when every fiber screams to stop. Mental fatigue often strikes simultaneously. Sleep deprivation, intense scrutiny, and the constant challenge of maintaining composure create a psychological strain as severe as the physical. Doubt creeps in. Am I good enough? Do I belong here? For many women, these questions are compounded by the awareness that others are watching, silently judging every decision, every stumble, every display of vulnerability. The mental breaking point is often invisible, yet it is every bit as real as the strain on their bodies. Social challenges add another layer. Being a minority in the group can lead to isolation or feelings of alienation. Moments that might be simple for others, forming bonds, joking with peers, or even seeking help, become fraught with tension. Female recruits must navigate relationships carefully, proving themselves capable, reliable, and resilient while remaining part of a team where camaraderie often takes time to develop. Yet, breaking points are also moments of transformation. Those who persevere learn to tap into reserves of strength they didn't know existed. Small victories, completing a demanding obstacle, enduring a punishing exercise, or receiving recognition from a drill instructor reinforce resilience. Over time, breaking points become opportunities for growth. They teach recruits that endurance is not simply about physical capability, but about mastering fear, controlling doubt, and refusing to yield under pressure. By the end of the 4th or 5th week, female recruits begin to understand a crucial truth. Survival in boot camp is measured not by the absence of breaking points, but by the ability to rise after each one. Each challenge conquered strengthens confidence, self-discipline, and the determination to persist. In that struggle, they are no longer simply surviving. They are becoming soldiers.
After weeks of relentless training, the landscape of boot camp begins to shift for female recruits. What once felt insurmountable, the physical strain, the mental pressure, the constant scrutiny, slowly becomes manageable. Adaptation sets in. Endurance grows. Confidence begins to replace doubt. This is the turning point where survival transforms into mastery. By this stage, women have learned to navigate the rigorous schedule and the expectations of drill instructors. Early mornings, punishing exercises, and endless repetition no longer feel like insurmountable obstacles, but challenges to be systematically overcome. The body adjusts to the demands. Muscles strengthen, stamina increases, and fatigue becomes a companion rather than an enemy. Each small success reinforces the belief that they belong, and that their presence in this male-dominated environment is not a novelty, it is legitimate. Social dynamics also evolve. Initially isolated, female recruits begin to find allies and form bonds, both with other women and with supportive male peers. Respect, earned through consistent performance, opens doors to inclusion. Casual exchanges, shared struggles, and collaborative teamwork foster a sense of belonging that was once absent. The skepticism of earlier weeks gives way to acknowledgement, sometimes quietly, sometimes openly, but always meaningfully. Mentally, recruits grow more resilient. The constant vigilance, the scrutiny of peers and instructors, and the persistent pressure to perform no longer dominate every thought. Women learn to focus on what they can control, their preparation, effort, and mindset. They understand that perfection is not expected, but persistence is. Challenges are approached strategically, one obstacle at a time, rather than as overwhelming monoliths. As the tide turns, confidence blossoms. Women begin to take initiative, lead small teams, and demonstrate skills with increasing proficiency. Their presence is no longer a point of curiosity or doubt. It is a source of reliability. Drill instructors recognize their growth, peers respect their competence, and the recruits themselves begin to internalize the reality. They are not only surviving boot camp, they are thriving within it. This transformation is not instantaneous, nor is it guaranteed for everyone. It requires consistency, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to endure. Yet for those who reach this point, the experience validates the effort, proving that female recruits are capable of meeting and exceeding the same rigorous standards imposed on all soldiers. Turning the tide is both a personal victory and a statement to the world. In boot camp, respect is earned through action, perseverance, and determination, not gender. Graduation day in boot camp is the culmination of weeks of relentless physical, mental, and emotional challenges. For every recruit, it represents more than the completion of a program. It symbolizes transformation. For female recruits, it is particularly significant. They have navigated an environment dominated by men, endured constant scrutiny, and proven their ability to meet the same rigorous standards as their peers. Today, their perseverance is on full display. The morning begins early, with the same discipline that has characterized their entire journey. Recruits stand in formation, uniforms pressed, faces resolute. Months of exhaustion, doubt, and struggle are distilled into a single moment of clarity and focus. Drill instructors inspect every detail with precision, not as a final obstacle, but as a reminder that excellence is the expectation, not the exception. As the ceremony progresses, accomplishments are acknowledged. Each recruit has completed the demanding curriculum, obstacle courses, endurance runs, tactical exercises, and countless hours of drills. For the female recruits, each accomplishment carries extra weight. It represents the culmination of quiet victories, lifting oneself up after moments of doubt, pushing beyond breaking points, and earning respect not through words, but through consistent action. Peer recognition is perhaps the most profound reward. Skepticism and barriers that existed at the start of boot camp have largely dissolved.
Male recruits who once questioned their abilities now offer nods of respect. Bonds formed through shared hardship create a sense of unity and inclusion. The female recruits are no longer outliers. They are integral members of the team, equally capable and respected. Drill instructors provide final guidance, emphasizing that graduation is not the end of the journey. The discipline, resilience, and mental toughness cultivated in boot camp are skills to carry forward, in training, in operations, and in life. For female recruits, this message resonates deeply. They have proven, first to themselves and then to everyone around them, that they belong in every environment they choose to enter. As the ceremony concludes and recruits receive their recognition, the sense of accomplishment is palpable. There is pride, relief, and reflection. Boot camp has tested them in every way possible, but it has also transformed them. Graduation day is more than a ceremony. It is the acknowledgement of endurance, courage, and the undeniable truth. In a demanding and male-dominated world, female recruits have not only survived, they have thrived.
Graduation marks the end of boot camp, but for female recruits, it is also the beginning of a new journey. The challenges faced within the base, physical exhaustion, mental strain, social scrutiny, have forged a foundation of resilience, discipline, and confidence that extends far beyond the training grounds. The lessons learned here shape not only their military careers, but their perspectives, their identities, and their capacity to navigate any demanding environment. Boot camp teaches more than endurance, it teaches adaptability. Female recruits leave with an understanding that strength is not solely physical, but also mental and emotional. They have endured moments of doubt and fatigue, faced breaking points, and risen stronger each time. These experiences cultivate a mindset capable of confronting challenges with focus and determination, whether in combat scenarios, leadership roles, or personal life. The social dynamics of boot camp also leave a lasting impact. Women who were once outnumbered and isolated now carry the confidence of earned respect. They have demonstrated their capabilities to peers, instructors, and themselves. The bonds formed through shared struggle with both men and women create networks of trust and solidarity that endure beyond the base. These relationships often serve as support systems, reminders of resilience, and proof that mutual respect can thrive even in challenging, high-pressure environments. Boot camp also reshapes perceptions, both externally and internally. For the women themselves, it proves that they can meet and exceed standards once thought unattainable. For the broader military community, it reinforces that competence, determination, and courage are not determined by gender. Female recruits become living examples of what dedication and perseverance can achieve, challenging outdated assumptions and paving the way for those who follow. Ultimately, surviving boot camp is about transformation. It is about moving from uncertainty to confidence, from isolation to inclusion, and from doubt to self-assurance. The journey does not end at graduation. It continues in every mission, every challenge, and every decision faced thereafter. For female recruits, the experience leaves an indelible mark, a profound understanding that resilience, skill, and determination are the true measures of a soldier. Boot camp may be over, but its lessons endure. In navigating a male-dominated environment, facing relentless trials, and proving their strength under pressure, female recruits not only survived, they redefined what it means to thrive as soldiers. Their story is one of courage, endurance, and unwavering commitment, a testament to the power of human perseverance in the face of extraordinary challenge.